Aleister Crowley, a name that evokes intrigue, controversy, and mystery, stands as one of the most enigmatic figures of the late 19th and early 20th centuries. Born Edward Alexander Crowley in 1875 in Warwickshire, England, he would go on to become an influential occultist, writer, and self-proclaimed prophet whose legacy continues to fascinate and perplex scholars and enthusiasts alike. Crowley's journey began in a strict Plymouth Brethren household, where his early exposure to religious fundamentalism would later fuel his rebellion against conventional morality and spirituality. As a young man, he attended Trinity College at Cambridge University, where he first began to explore esoteric knowledge and mystical practices. It was during this time that he adopted the name Aleister, derived from the Gaelic form of Alexander. In 1898, Crowley joined the Hermetic Order of the Golden Dawn, a secret society dedicated to the study and practice of occult, metaphysical, and paranormal activities. This marked the beginning of his deep dive into Western esotericism and his eventual development of his own spiritual philosophy, which he called Thelema. Thelema, derived from the Greek word for will, is centered around the concept that individuals should seek and follow their true will, famously encapsulated in Crowley's dictum, "Do what thou wilt, shall be the whole of the law." This philosophy, while often misinterpreted as a call for hedonism, was intended by Crowley to be a path to self-realization and spiritual enlightenment. Crowley's travels took him across the globe, from the mountains of Kashmir to the deserts of Egypt. In 1904, while in Cairo with his first wife Rose Kelly, Crowley claimed to have received a revelation from a supernatural entity named Aiwass. This communication formed the basis of the Book of the Law, the central sacred text of Thelema, which Crowley believed heralded the dawn of a new aeon in human spiritual evolution. Throughout his life, Crowley wrote prolifically on magic, mysticism, and esoteric subjects. His works, such as Magic in Theory and Practice and the Book of Thoth, continue to be influential in occult circles today. He developed his own system of ceremonial magic, which he termed magic, spelled with a K to distinguish it from stage magic, and to align it with the archaic spelling of the word. Crowley's reputation as the wickedest man in the world, a title bestowed upon him by the British press, was partly self-cultivated and partly a result of his unconventional lifestyle and provocative writings. He reveled in shocking society, openly discussing his use of drugs and his exploration of alternative sexual practices. This notoriety often overshadowed his intellectual contributions and his genuine spiritual quest. In 1920, Crowley established the Abbey of Thelema in Cefalù, Sicily, intended as a spiritual commune where Thelemites could live according to their principles. The experiment was short-lived, ending in 1923 when Crowley was expelled from Italy by Mussolini's fascist government. The abbey, however, became a symbol of Crowley's vision for a new spiritual paradigm. Crowley's influence extended beyond the realm of occultism. He was an accomplished chess player, a pioneering mountaineer who made early attempts on K2 and Kanchenjunga, and a prolific poet. His literary works, while often overshadowed by his occult writings, include collections of poetry and novels that reflect his complex worldview and experiences. The impact of Crowley's ideas on popular culture cannot be overstated. His image as the archetypal magician has inspired countless works of fiction, music, and art. The Beatles included him on the cover of their Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band album, and his philosophies have influenced various countercultural movements from the 1960s onward. One of the most intriguing aspects of Crowley's legacy is his development of the Thoth Tarot deck. Designed in collaboration with artist Lady Frida Harris, this tarot incorporates complex symbolism drawn from various mystical traditions, reflecting Crowley's vast knowledge of esoteric systems. The deck remains popular among tarot enthusiasts and scholars for its rich imagery and multifaceted interpretations. Crowley's life was marked by contradictions. He was both a seeker of spiritual truth and a master of self-promotion, a serious scholar and a provocateur. His relationships were often tumultuous, and he struggled with addiction throughout his life. Yet his unwavering commitment to his spiritual path and his prolific output across various fields of study demonstrate a remarkable intellect and drive. As we delve deeper into Crowley's life and work, we encounter a figure who defies simple categorization. Was he a genuine mystic who tapped into profound spiritual truths, or a clever charlatan who built a mythology around himself? The answer likely lies somewhere in between, in the complex interplay of genius, ambition, and human frailty that characterized his existence. Crowley's system of magic, with its emphasis on ritual, symbolism, and personal gnosis, continues to be practiced and studied today. His concept of true will, the idea that each individual has a unique purpose or calling in life, resonates with modern ideas of self-actualization and personal development. Yet the controversy surrounding his methods and lifestyle continues to spark debate among scholars and practitioners alike. The legacy of Aleister Crowley raises profound questions about the nature of spirituality, the boundaries of social norms, and the role of the individual in shaping their own destiny. In an age where traditional religious structures are increasingly challenged, Crowley's emphasis on personal spiritual experience and his synthesis of various mystical traditions offer an alternative paradigm for those seeking meaning beyond conventional frameworks. As we reflect on the life and impact of Aleister Crowley, we are left to ponder the enduring fascination with esoteric knowledge and the human drive to push beyond the boundaries of the known. What does Crowley's legacy tell us about our own spiritual longings and the eternal quest for understanding? How do we reconcile the pursuit of personal freedom with social responsibility? And in our modern world, where information flows freely and ancient wisdom mingles with cutting-edge science, what new forms of spiritual exploration might emerge, inspired by the boldness of figures like Crowley? The story of Aleister Crowley, with all its complexity and contradiction, serves as a mirror reflecting our own desires, fears, and aspirations. It challenges us to question our assumptions about reality, morality, and the nature of consciousness itself. As we continue to grapple with these fundamental questions, the enigmatic figure of the Great Beast 6666 remains a provocative symbol of humanity's endless quest for knowledge, transcendence, and ultimate truth. Manly Palmer Hall, a name that resonates deeply within the realms of esoteric wisdom and philosophical inquiry, stands as one of the most prolific and influential occult scholars of the 20th century. Born on March 18, 1901, in Peterborough, Ontario, Canada, Hall's journey into the world of ancient mysteries and hidden knowledge would lead him to become a towering figure in the landscape of Western esotericism. From an early age, Hall displayed an insatiable curiosity about the nature of reality and the hidden workings of the universe. Raised by his maternal grandmother, he moved to Los Angeles at the age of 18, where he began to immerse himself in the study of comparative religion, philosophy, and the occult sciences. This period of intense study and exploration would lay the foundation for his lifelong pursuit of wisdom and understanding. Hall's rise to prominence in esoteric circles was meteoric. By his early 20s, he had already established himself as a sought-after lecturer, captivating audiences with his encyclopedic knowledge of ancient wisdom traditions and his ability to synthesize complex ideas into accessible forms. His charismatic presence and profound insights drew people from all walks of life, eager to hear his perspectives on the mysteries of existence. In 1928, at the remarkably young age of 27, Hall published his magnum opus, The Secret Teachings of All Ages, an encyclopedic outline of Masonic, Hermetic, Kabbalistic, and Rosicrucian symbolical philosophy. This monumental work, which took Hall 6 years to complete, stands as a testament to his extraordinary scholarship and his commitment to preserving and elucidating the world's esoteric traditions. The book covers a vast array of topics, from ancient mystery religions and alchemy to Freemasonry and the Kabbalah, all richly illustrated with symbolic artwork and diagrams. The Secret Teachings of All Ages was not merely a compendium of occult knowledge. It represented Hall's vision of a grand synthesis of spiritual wisdom, drawing parallels between diverse traditions and revealing the underlying unity of human spiritual seeking. The work's impact was immediate and lasting, cementing Hall's reputation as a leading authority on esoteric philosophy and symbolism. Throughout his life, Hall continued to write prolifically, producing over 150 books and essays on subjects ranging from astrology and dream interpretation to reincarnation and meditation. His works were characterized by their breadth of knowledge, their accessible style, and their emphasis on the practical application of spiritual principles in daily life. In 1934, Hall founded the Philosophical Research Society, PRS, in Los Angeles, which became the center of his life's work. The PRS was conceived as a non-dogmatic institution dedicated to the study of the world's wisdom traditions. Through the society, Hall aimed to make esoteric knowledge available to sincere seekers, regardless of their background or beliefs. The PRS library, which Hall built over decades, became renowned for its collection of rare books and manuscripts on philosophy, religion, and the occult sciences. Hall's interests and influence extended far beyond the realm of esoteric studies. He was deeply concerned with issues of social justice, environmental conservation, and the ethical application of scientific knowledge. He saw the ancient wisdom traditions not as relics of the past, but as living philosophies that could offer guidance in addressing the challenges of the modern world. One of Hall's most significant contributions was his ability to bridge the gap between esoteric thought and mainstream culture. He lectured widely, not only in metaphysical circles, but also at universities, civic organizations, and even to government bodies. His ideas influenced a wide range of thinkers, artists, and public figures, from Hollywood celebrities to politicians. Hall's approach to the esoteric was characterized by a blend of scholarly rigor and spiritual insight. While he was deeply versed in occult traditions, he was not an uncritical believer in supernatural phenomena. Instead, he emphasized the symbolic and psychological aspects of esoteric teachings, viewing them as tools for personal transformation and the expansion of consciousness. Throughout his career, Hall was initiated into various esoteric orders and societies, including Freemasonry, where he attained the 33rd degree in the Scottish Rite. However, he always maintained a stance of independence, refusing to be bound by any single doctrine or tradition. This eclectic approach allowed him to draw insights from a wide range of sources and to present esoteric ideas in a way that was relevant to contemporary audiences. Hall's life was not without controversy. His encyclopedic knowledge and the breadth of his writings led some critics to question the depth of his understanding. Others criticized what they saw as an overly romantic or uncritical approach to ancient wisdom traditions. However, even his detractors acknowledged the significant role he played in preserving and popularizing esoteric knowledge in the 20th century. As the decades passed, Hall continued to evolve in his thinking and teaching. In his later years, he placed increasing emphasis on the practical application of spiritual principles and the importance of individual effort in the pursuit of wisdom. He saw the great esoteric traditions not as ends in themselves, but as means to achieve greater self-awareness and to contribute positively to the world. Manly P. Hall passed away on August 29, 1990, leaving behind a legacy that continues to influence seekers of esoteric wisdom to this day. His life's work represents a monumental effort to synthesize and preserve the world's spiritual and philosophical heritage, making it accessible to modern audiences. The questions raised by Hall's work continue to resonate in our contemporary world. In an age of rapid technological advancement and global challenges, how can ancient wisdom traditions inform our approach to ethics, consciousness, and the nature of reality? How do we balance the pursuit of esoteric knowledge with the demands of practical living? And in a world often divided by ideological and religious differences, can the comparative study of wisdom traditions, as exemplified by Hall's work, contribute to greater understanding and harmony? As we reflect on the life and contributions of Manly P. Hall, we are reminded of the enduring human quest for meaning and transcendence. His work stands as a testament to the power of ideas to inspire, transform, and illuminate the path of human evolution. In a world that often seems fragmented and disconnected, Hall's vision of a unified wisdom tradition offers a compelling alternative, a reminder of the common spiritual heritage that unites all of humanity in its search for truth, beauty, and understanding. Grigory Yefimovich Rasputin, a name that evokes images of mysticism, scandal, and the twilight of Imperial Russia, remains one of the most enigmatic and controversial figures of the early 20th century. Born in 1869 in the small Siberian village of Pokrovskoye, Rasputin's journey from obscure peasant to confidant of the Russian royal family is a tale that continues to captivate historians and the public imagination alike. Rasputin's early life was marked by the harsh realities of rural Siberia. Born into a peasant family, he received little formal education and remained illiterate for much of his life. However, from a young age, Rasputin displayed an intense spirituality and a charismatic personality that would later become his hallmarks. As a young man, he underwent a religious transformation, spending months at a time in solitary prayer and fasting. This period of spiritual awakening led him to become a stranic or holy wanderer, traveling across Russia and visiting various monasteries and holy sites. It was during these wanderings that Rasputin began to develop his reputation as a starets, or holy man, gifted with healing powers and the ability to see into the future. His piercing blue eyes, unkempt appearance, and magnetic personality made a strong impression on those he encountered. Stories of his ability to heal the sick and provide spiritual guidance began to spread, attracting attention from both peasants and members of the Russian nobility. Rasputin's life took a dramatic turn in 1905 when he arrived in St. Petersburg. Petersburg, the capital of Imperial Russia. Through a series of connections and what some might call divine providence, he was introduced to Tsar Nicholas II and his wife, Tsarina Alexandra Feodorovna. The royal couple was desperate for help with their young son Alexei, who suffered from hemophilia, a potentially fatal blood disorder. Rasputin's reputed healing abilities offered a glimmer of hope for the anxious parents. To the astonishment of the court and the medical establishment, Rasputin appeared to have a positive effect on the young Tsarevich's health. Whether through hypnosis, the power of suggestion, or some unexplained ability, Rasputin seemed able to ease Alexei's suffering and stop his bleeding episodes. This apparent miracle cemented Rasputin's position within the royal household and marked the beginning of his extraordinary influence over the Romanov family. As Rasputin's power grew, so did the controversy surrounding him. His unorthodox behavior, including heavy drinking and alleged sexual improprieties, scandalized Russian high society. Rasputin's peasant manners and disregard for court etiquette made him a figure of both fascination and revulsion among the nobility. Rumors spread about his influence over the Tsarina, with some suggesting that he was her lover, and others claiming that he was a German spy, intent on bringing down the Russian Empire. Despite the growing chorus of criticism, Tsarina Alexandra's faith in Rasputin remained unshakable. She saw him as a holy man sent by God to protect her son and the Russian throne. This unwavering support allowed Rasputin to exert increasing influence over matters of state, particularly as World War I strained Russia's resources and the Tsar spent more time at the front, leaving Alexandra to manage domestic affairs. Rasputin's role in Russian politics during this period remains a subject of intense debate among historians. While some argue that his influence was exaggerated by his enemies, others contend that he played a significant role in key government appointments and policy decisions. What is clear is that Rasputin's presence at court and his perceived influence contributed to the growing dissatisfaction with the Romanov regime among both the nobility and the general population. As Russia's fortunes in World War I worsened and domestic unrest grew, Rasputin became a lightning rod for criticism of the monarchy. He was seen by many as a symbol of everything that was wrong with the autocratic system: corruption, incompetence, and the undue influence of mystical charlatans. Rasputin himself seemed aware of the precariousness of his position, reportedly telling the Tsar that if he were to be killed by government officials, the Romanov dynasty would fall soon after. The plot to assassinate Rasputin, carried out on the night of December 30th, 1916, has become the stuff of legend. A group of nobles, led by Prince Felix Yusupov, lured Rasputin to Yusupov's palace under the pretense of a late-night party. There, they attempted to poison him with cyanide-laced cakes and wine. When the poison appeared to have no effect, Yusupov shot Rasputin at close range. Incredibly, Rasputin survived this attack and attempted to escape. He was shot several more times, beaten, and finally thrown into the icy Neva River, where he ultimately drowned. The circumstances of Rasputin's death, with its elements of superhuman endurance and multiple failed attempts, only added to the mystique surrounding him. In death, as in life, Rasputin seemed to defy normal human limitations, fueling further speculation about his supernatural powers. Rasputin's prediction about the fate of the Romanov dynasty proved eerily accurate. Just over 2 months after his death, the February Revolution forced Tsar Nicholas II to abdicate, bringing an end to over 300 years of Romanov rule. The following year, the Bolsheviks seized power, and the Tsar and his family were executed, marking the final chapter of Imperial Russia. The legacy of Grigory Rasputin extends far beyond his historical role in the fall of the Romanov dynasty. He has become a cultural icon, a symbol of the decadence and mysticism of pre-revolutionary Russia. His life has inspired countless books, films, and even popular songs, each offering its own interpretation of this complex and controversial figure. Rasputin's story raises profound questions about the nature of power, faith, and human charisma. How did a simple peasant from Siberia come to wield such influence over the most powerful family in Russia? What was the true nature of his healing abilities? And to what extent did his presence at court contribute to the downfall of the Romanov dynasty? These questions continue to intrigue historians and the public alike, making Rasputin a subject of enduring fascination. His life serves as a lens through which we can examine the broader themes of Russia's turbulent transition from autocracy to revolution, the role of mysticism in politics, and the power of personality in shaping historical events. As we reflect on the life of Grigory Rasputin, we are reminded of the complex interplay between individual agency and broader historical forces. His story challenges us to consider the fine line between faith and superstition, between genuine spiritual power and manipulation. In an age where charismatic individuals can still sway the course of nations, the tale of the Mad Monk of Russia remains as relevant and thought-provoking as ever. Osman Spare, a name that resonates with intrigue in the realms of occultism and art, stands as one of the most enigmatic figures of the 20th century. Born on December 30th, 1886 in Snow Hill, London, Spare would grow to become a visionary artist, occultist, and philosopher whose work continues to fascinate and influence to this day. Spare's early life was marked by an extraordinary talent for drawing that manifested at a young age. Growing up in a working-class family in South London, he found escape and expression through his art. His precocious ability caught the attention of his teachers and local residents, setting him on a path that would lead him to the Royal College of Art at the remarkably young age of 13. As a youth, Spare was exposed to the vibrant occult scene of fin de siècle London. He became acquainted with the works of Madame Blavatsky and the Theosophical Society, as well as the burgeoning Golden Dawn movement. These early influences would shape his worldview and inform his later magical practices. In 1905, at the age of 18, Spare published his first book, Earth, Inferno. This work, filled with grotesque and fantastical imagery, showcased not only his artistic prowess, but also his developing occult philosophy. The book caught the attention of Aleister Crowley, who would become a significant, if complex, influence on Spare's life and work. Spare's relationship with Crowley was brief, but impactful. He joined Crowley's magical order, the AA, and contributed artwork to Crowley's journal, the Equinox. However, Spare soon grew disillusioned with organized occultism and began to develop his own unique magical system. The cornerstone of Spare's magical philosophy was what he called the alphabet of desire. This was a system of sigil magic that involved the creation of abstract symbols to represent desires or intentions. Spare believed that by creating these sigils and then forgetting their original meaning, one could bypass the conscious mind and implant the desire directly into the subconscious, where it could manifest in reality. Spare's magical practices were deeply intertwined with his art. He developed a technique of automatic drawing, which he believed allowed him to tap into the unconscious mind and channel entities or archetypes from other dimensions. These drawings, often executed at great speed and in a trance-like state, resulted in complex, surreal images that seemed to pulse with otherworldly energy. In 1913, Spare published his most famous work, The Book of Pleasure, Self-Love, The Psychology of Ecstasy. This dense and often cryptic text laid out his magical philosophy in detail. Central to this philosophy was the concept of Kia, which Spare described as the underlying cosmic energy or life force. He posited that by entering altered states of consciousness, one could tap into this primal energy and reshape reality according to one's will. Spare's ideas about magic and consciousness were far ahead of their time. His emphasis on the power of belief and the manipulation of personal symbology presaged many concepts in chaos magic and modern psychological approaches to magical practice. His work also resonated with emerging ideas in psychology, particularly the theories of Carl Jung about the collective unconscious and archetypes. Despite his early success and recognition in the art world, Spare chose to retreat from the mainstream art scene. He spent much of his life living in relative poverty in South London, creating art for himself and a small circle of patrons and admirers. This self-imposed exile allowed him to delve deeper into his magical practices and artistic experimentation. During World War II, Spare's London studio was destroyed in the Blitz, resulting in the loss of much of his work. This devastating event seemed to catalyze a new phase of creativity. In the post-war years, he produced a prodigious amount of artwork, much of it portraits of local characters from his South London neighborhood. Spare's later years saw a renewed interest in his work, both artistic and occult. He developed a friendship with Kenneth Grant, who would go on to become a significant figure in 20th century occultism and an important promoter of Spare's ideas after his death. Grant's writings brought Spare's work to a new generation of occultists and helped cement his reputation as a seminal figure in modern magical thought. Throughout his life, Spare maintained a complex and often ambivalent relationship with the occult community. While he drew inspiration from various magical traditions, he was deeply skeptical of organized occultism and religious dogma. He preferred to develop his own idiosyncratic approach to magic, one that emphasized personal gnosis and direct experience over received wisdom or tradition. Spare's artistic style was as unique as his magical philosophy. His drawings and paintings blended elements of symbolism, surrealism, and what would later be called psychedelic art. He had an extraordinary ability to capture the essence of his subjects, whether human portraits or other worldly entities. His work often featured distorted figures, atavistic imagery, and complex multi-layered symbolism. The influence of Osman Spare extends far beyond the realms of occultism and art. His ideas about the power of symbols and the manipulation of consciousness have resonated with fields as diverse as advertising, psychology, and computer programming. The sigil magic techniques he developed have been adopted and adapted by chaos magicians, digital artists, and even some business strategists. Spare's life and work raise profound questions about the nature of creativity, consciousness, and reality itself. How does the unconscious mind shape our perception and experience of the world? Can we truly manipulate reality through belief and symbolism? What is the relationship between art, magic, and altered states of consciousness? As we reflect on the legacy of Osman Spare, we are confronted with a figure who defies easy categorization. Was he a misunderstood genius, a skilled charlatan, or something in between? His work challenges us to expand our understanding of what is possible, both in art and in the manipulation of consciousness. In an age where interest in alternative spiritualities and consciousness exploration is on the rise, Spare's ideas seem more relevant than ever. His emphasis on personal gnosis and the power of individual creativity offers a compelling alternative to rigid belief systems and dogmatic approaches to spirituality. The story of Osman Spare serves as a reminder of the potential for radical originality that lies within each of us. His life's work encourages us to question our assumptions about reality, to explore the depths of our own psyche and to dare to create our own systems of meaning and magic in a world that often seems chaotic and meaningless. As we continue to grapple with questions of consciousness, creativity, and the nature of reality, the enigmatic figure of Osman's Spare stands as a beacon of individualism and creative power, challenging us to delve deeper into the mysteries of existence and to forge our own paths through the labyrinth of the mind. Gerald Brosseau Gardner, a name that has become synonymous with modern witchcraft and Wicca, stands as one of the most influential figures in the revival of pagan spirituality in the 20th century. Born on June 13, 1884, in Blundellsands near Liverpool, England, Gardner's journey from a colonial civil servant to the father of Wicca is a tale of adventure, mystery, and spiritual discovery that continues to shape alternative religious practices to this day. Gardner's early life was marked by poor health and frequent travel. Suffering from asthma, he was sent abroad at a young age, spending much of his youth in Madeira and Ceylon, now Sri Lanka. This early exposure to different cultures and belief systems would later influence his spiritual path and his approach to magical practices. In 1908, Gardner began a career as a civil servant in British Malaya, where he would spend the next 2 decades. During this time, he developed a keen interest in native customs, folklore, and magical practices. He became particularly fascinated with the creese, a traditional Malay dagger, often believed to possess magical properties. This interest in indigenous magical traditions and ritual objects would later inform his approach to witchcraft. Gardner's time in Malaya also saw him develop an interest in archaeology and anthropology. He participated in several archaeological digs and even discovered the site of the ancient city of Singapura. These experiences deepened his fascination with ancient cultures and their spiritual practices, laying the groundwork for his later explorations into Western esoteric traditions. Returning to England in 1936, Gardner became involved in the flourishing occult scene of the time. He joined the Folklore Society and became acquainted with various occult groups and individuals. It was during this period that Gardner claimed to have been initiated into a coven of witches practicing an ancient, pre-Christian religion. According to Gardner, this initiation took place in the New Forest area in 1939, performed by a high priestess named Dorothy Clutterbuck. The veracity of this claim has been the subject of much debate among scholars and practitioners. Regardless of its historical accuracy, this narrative of initiation into an ancient witch cult became central to Gardner's later development of Wicca. In 1946, Gardner met Aleister Crowley, the infamous occultist and founder of Thelema. While their association was brief, lasting only a few months before Crowley's death in 1947, it had a significant impact on Gardner's magical ideas. Elements of Crowley's writings and rituals would later find their way into Gardner's formulation of Wiccan practice. Gardner's public involvement with witchcraft began in earnest with the publication of his novel High Magic's Aid in 1949. While ostensibly a work of fiction, the book contained many of the ritual elements that would later become central to Wiccan practice. At this time, the Witchcraft Act of 1735 was still in effect in England, making it illegal to claim to practice witchcraft. Gardner's use of fiction allowed him to introduce these ideas without legal repercussions. The repeal of the Witchcraft Act in 1951 opened the door for Gardner to be more public about his involvement with witchcraft. In 1954, he published Witchcraft Today, a non-fiction work that claimed to reveal the existence of a surviving pagan witch cult in Britain. This book, along with its 1959 follow-up The Meaning of Witchcraft, laid the foundation for what would come to be known as Gardnerian Wicca. Gardner's form of witchcraft, which he initially referred to simply as the craft or witchcraft, was a blend of various elements. It incorporated aspects of ceremonial magic, folklore, and what Gardner claimed were survivals of ancient pagan practices. Central to this new religion was the worship of a goddess and a god, the observance of 8 seasonal festivals, the Wheel of the Year, and the practice of ritual magic. One of Gardner's most significant contributions was the creation of the Book of Shadows, a ritual text containing spells, invocations, and magical instructions. While Gardner claimed this book was an ancient text passed down through generations of witches, most scholars now believe it to be largely his own creation, albeit drawing on various historical and contemporary sources. Gardner's brand of witchcraft placed a strong emphasis on nature worship, fertility, and the sacred feminine. It also incorporated elements of ceremonial magic, such as the use of ritual tools, athame, wand, pentacle, and chalice, and the casting of a magic circle. The practice of ritual nudity, or skyclad as Gardner termed it, was another distinctive feature of his tradition. As interest in Gardner's witchcraft grew, he initiated several individuals who would go on to become influential figures in the spreading of Wicca. Among these were Doreen Valiente, who played a crucial role in refining and developing Wiccan liturgy, and Raymond Buckland, who later introduced Gardnerian Wicca to the United States. Gardner's claims and practices were not without controversy. Many scholars and some contemporary pagans have criticized his historical claims, arguing that Wicca is a modern creation rather than an ancient survival. The authenticity of his initiation and the existence of Dorothy Clutterbuck have been subjects of intense debate. Additionally, some have criticized aspects of Gardner's personal behavior and his penchant for publicity. Despite these controversies, Gardner's impact on modern paganism and alternative spirituality is undeniable. Wicca has grown from a small secretive group in England to a worldwide religious movement with numerous traditions and offshoots. The religion's emphasis on personal spiritual experience, reverence for nature, and magical practice has resonated with many seeking alternatives to mainstream religions. Gardner spent his final years traveling, giving interviews, and continuing to promote and develop his form of witchcraft. He died on February 12, 1964, while returning from a trip to Lebanon. His death marked the end of an era, but the movement he started continued to grow and evolve. The legacy of Gerald Gardner raises profound questions about the nature of religious authenticity, the role of creativity in spiritual practice, and the interplay between ancient traditions and modern innovations. How do new religious movements establish legitimacy? What is the relationship between historical accuracy and spiritual truth? How does individual charisma shape the development of religious traditions? As we reflect on Gardner's life and work, we are confronted with the complex dynamics of religious revival and innovation. His story challenges us to consider the ways in which spiritual seekers create meaning and community in a rapidly changing world. It also invites us to explore the enduring human desire for connection with nature, the divine feminine, and the magical dimensions of existence. In our contemporary world, where interest in alternative spiritualities and earth-based religions continues to grow, Gardner's influence can be seen in diverse areas, from environmental activism to feminist spirituality. The movement he helped to birth has evolved far beyond his original vision, adapting to new cultural contexts and incorporating diverse perspectives. The story of Gerald Gardner and the birth of Wicca serves as a fascinating case study in the creation and evolution of modern religious movements. It reminds us of the power of imagination and personal gnosis in shaping spiritual traditions, and the enduring human quest for magic, meaning, and connection in an often alienating modern world. Hermes Trismegistos, the thrice greatest Hermes, stands as one of the most enigmatic and influential figures in the history of Western esotericism. This legendary sage, believed to be of ancient Egyptian origin, is credited with founding the Hermetic tradition, a philosophical and magical system that has profoundly shaped Western occult thought for nearly 2 millennia. The story of Hermes Trismegistos is a fascinating blend of mythology, philosophy, and spiritual wisdom that continues to intrigue scholars and mystics alike. The origins of Hermes Trismegistos are shrouded in mystery and myth. In ancient times, he was often identified with the Egyptian god Thoth, the deity of wisdom, writing, and magic. The Greeks, in their custom of syncretizing foreign gods with their own pantheon, associated him with their god Hermes, the messenger of the gods and patron of travelers, merchants, and thieves. The epithet Trismegistos, meaning thrice greatest, was added to emphasize his supreme wisdom and status. According to Hermetic law, Hermes Trismegistos was a sage who lived in ancient Egypt, possessing profound knowledge of the secrets of the universe. He was said to have written thousands of books on various subjects, including alchemy, astrology, magic, and philosophy. These writings, collectively known as the Hermetica, were believed to contain the sum of all knowledge, both mundane and divine. The core of the Hermetic teachings is found in the Corpus Hermeticum, a collection of Greek texts probably compiled in the 2nd and 3rd centuries CE. These texts present a series of dialogues, primarily between Hermes Trismegistos and his disciples, exploring profound metaphysical and spiritual concepts. Central to these teachings is the idea of gnosis, or direct spiritual knowledge, which allows the initiate to understand the true nature of reality and achieve union with the divine. One of the most famous Hermetic texts is the Emerald Tablet, a short, cryptic work that has captivated the imagination of alchemists and occultists for centuries. Its central axiom, as above, so below, encapsulates the Hermetic principle of correspondence between the macrocosm, the universe, and the microcosm, the individual. This concept has become a cornerstone of Western esoteric thought, influencing everything from medieval alchemy to modern New Age philosophy. The Hermetic teachings present a unique blend of Greek philosophy, Egyptian wisdom, and elements of Jewish and early Christian thought. They describe a cosmos in which the material world is a reflection of the divine realm, and where humans have the potential to ascend to godhood through spiritual knowledge and practice. This idea of spiritual ascension and the divine nature of humanity has had a profound impact on Western mystical traditions. During the Renaissance, there was a revival of interest in Hermes Trismegistos and the Hermetic writings. Scholars of the time believed these texts to be of great antiquity, possibly predating even Moses. This misconception lent the Hermetic teachings enormous prestige and authority. Influential thinkers like Marsilio Ficino translated the Corpus Hermeticum into Latin, making it accessible to a wider audience and sparking a renewed interest in esoteric studies. The Hermetic tradition has had a significant influence on various occult and mystical movements throughout history. It played a crucial role in the development of Renaissance magic and alchemy, influencing figures such as Giordano Bruno and John Dee. The teachings of Hermes Trismegistos also had a profound impact on Rosicrucianism, Freemasonry, and Theosophy, shaping the landscape of Western esotericism well into the modern era. One of the most intriguing aspects of the Hermetic tradition is its emphasis on the power of the human mind and will. The Hermetic teachings suggest that through proper understanding and application of universal laws, individuals can shape their reality and even influence the course of nature. This concept has resonated through the ages, finding expression in modern ideas about positive thinking and the law of attraction. The figure of Hermes Trismegistos has also been associated with the concept of the Prisca Theologia, or ancient theology. This Renaissance idea posited that there was a single true theology that had been given by God to humanity in antiquity and passed down through a series of great sages, including Hermes Trismegistos. This concept was used to reconcile pagan philosophy with Christianity and to argue for the fundamental unity of all religious traditions. In the realm of alchemy, Hermes Trismegistos is revered as the founder of the Hermetic arts. Alchemists sought to unlock the secrets of nature, believing that the transformation of base metals into gold was a physical parallel to the spiritual transformation of the alchemist. The Hermetic principle of as above, so below was central to alchemical thought, suggesting that processes in the material world mirrored spiritual realities. Modern scholarship has shed new light on the historical context of the Hermetic writings. We now know that the Corpus Hermeticum was not written in ancient Egypt, but composed during the Hellenistic and Roman periods. This discovery has not diminished the importance of these texts, but has shifted our understanding of their place in the history of ideas. The Hermetic writings are now seen as valuable documents of the spiritual and philosophical climate of late antiquity, reflecting the complex interplay of Greek, Egyptian, and Near Eastern thought. Despite the historical reassessment, the teachings attributed to Hermes Trismegistos continue to exert a powerful influence on modern esoteric and New Age thought. Concepts such as the power of the mind to shape reality, the interconnectedness of all things, and the possibility of spiritual evolution resonate strongly with contemporary seekers. The figure of Hermes Trismegistos remains a potent symbol of wisdom and spiritual insight. The legacy of Hermes Trismegistos raises profound questions about the nature of wisdom, the transmission of knowledge, and the human quest for understanding. How do ancient teachings remain relevant across millennia? What is the relationship between mythical figures and historical realities in the development of spiritual traditions? How do we reconcile esoteric wisdom with modern scientific understanding? As we reflect on the enduring influence of Hermes Trismegistos, we are reminded of the timeless human desire to understand the mysteries of existence. The Hermetic teachings, with their blend of philosophy, spirituality, and practical wisdom, offer a unique perspective on the nature of reality and the human potential for transformation. They challenge us to look beyond the surface of things, to seek the hidden connections that bind the universe together. In our modern world, where science and technology have transformed our understanding of the cosmos, the teachings attributed to Hermes Trismegistos continue to offer insights into the realms of consciousness, spirituality, and the human psyche. They remind us that there are modes of knowing and experiencing reality that go beyond the purely rational and empirical. The story of Hermes Trismegistos serves as a bridge between ancient wisdom and modern seeking, between mythical archetypes and philosophical inquiry. It invites us to explore the depths of our own consciousness, to seek the divine spark within ourselves, and to strive for a more profound understanding of the cosmos and our place within it. In doing so, we continue a quest for knowledge and self-realization that has captivated the human imagination for thousands of years. Carl Gustav Jung, a name that resonates deeply in the realms of psychology, psychiatry, and the study of the human psyche, stands as one of the most influential thinkers of the 20th century. Born on July 26, 1875, in Keswil, Switzerland, Jung's journey from a rural Swiss pastor's son to a pioneer of analytical psychology is a tale of intellectual adventure, spiritual exploration, and profound insight into the human condition. Jung's early life was marked by a rich inner world and a deep sensitivity to the mysterious aspects of existence. As a child, he experienced vivid dreams and visions that would later inform his theories about the unconscious mind. His father was a rural pastor, and the religious atmosphere of his childhood home, coupled with his mother's interest in spiritualism, laid the groundwork for Jung's lifelong fascination with the spiritual dimensions of human experience. After studying medicine at the University of Basel, Jung became interested in psychiatry, a field that was still in its infancy at the turn of the 20th century. His doctoral dissertation, On the Psychology and Pathology of So-Called Occult Phenomena, published in 1902, foreshadowed many of the themes that would occupy him throughout his career, including the relationship between conscious and unconscious processes. In 1900, Jung began working at the Burghölzli Mental Hospital in Zurich under Eugen Bleuler, a pioneering psychiatrist. It was here that Jung first encountered the works of Sigmund Freud, which would have a profound impact on his developing ideas about the human psyche. Jung's research on word association tests at Burghölzli led him to postulate the existence of emotionally charged clusters of associations, which he termed complexes. This concept would become a cornerstone of his psychological theory. Jung's relationship with Freud, which began in 1906, was initially one of great mutual admiration and collaboration. Freud saw Jung as his intellectual heir and the future leader of the psychoanalytic movement. However, as Jung developed his own ideas about the nature of the unconscious and the role of sexuality in psychological development, tensions began to arise between the two men. The break with Freud, which occurred around 1912 to 1913, was a pivotal moment in Jung's life and career. Following this separation, Jung entered a period of intense self-exploration that he later termed his confrontation with the unconscious. During this time, he experienced powerful dreams, visions, and fantasies, which he meticulously recorded and analyzed. This process, which Jung later described in his autobiographical work, Memories, Dreams, Reflections, laid the foundation for many of his most important psychological concepts. One of Jung's most significant contributions to psychology was his theory of the collective unconscious. Unlike Freud, who emphasized the personal unconscious shaped by individual experience, Jung proposed the existence of a deeper layer of the psyche shared by all humans. This collective unconscious, Jung believed, contained archetypes, universal primordial images and ideas that shape human experience and behavior across cultures and throughout history. Jung identified several key archetypes, including the persona, the social mask we present to the world, the shadow, the repressed, often darker aspects of our personality, the anima animus, the feminine aspect in men and the masculine aspect in women, and the self, the central archetype of wholeness and integration. These concepts have had a profound impact not only on psychology, but also on literature, art, and popular culture. Another crucial aspect of Jung's work was his theory of psychological types. In his book, Psychological Types, published in 1921, Jung proposed that people could be categorized according to their primary mode of psychological functioning. He identified two basic attitudes, extroversion and introversion, and four functions of consciousness: thinking, feeling, sensation, and intuition. This theory laid the groundwork for many modern personality typologies, including the widely used Myers-Briggs type indicator. Jung's approach to psychotherapy, which he termed analytical psychology, emphasized the importance of individuation, the process of integrating the various aspects of one's personality into a cohesive whole. He saw psychological symptoms not merely as problems to be eliminated, but as expressions of the psyche's attempt to achieve balance and wholeness. This perspective led Jung to adopt a more holistic and symbolic approach to dream interpretation and psychological analysis than was common in Freudian psychoanalysis. One of the most controversial aspects of Jung's work was his interest in what he called synchronicity, meaningful coincidences that cannot be explained by cause and effect. Jung saw synchronicity as evidence of a causal connecting principle in the universe, linking psychic and physical events. This concept, which Jung developed in collaboration with the physicist Wolfgang Pauli, has been influential in fields ranging from parapsychology to quantum physics. Jung's interest in Eastern philosophy, particularly the I Ching and various forms of yoga, led him to explore the parallels between Western psychology and Eastern spiritual traditions. He saw in these traditions valuable insights into the nature of consciousness and the process of psychological transformation. This cross-cultural approach to psychology was groundbreaking for its time and has had a lasting impact on the dialogue between Western science and Eastern wisdom traditions. Throughout his career, Jung was deeply interested in the psychological aspects of religion and spirituality. He saw religious symbols and practices as expressions of fundamental psychological truths and argued for the importance of a spiritual or transpersonal dimension in human experience. His work on the psychology of religion, including his concept of the God image in the human psyche, has been influential in both theological and psychological circles. Jung's ideas have had a profound impact far beyond the field of psychology. His concepts of archetypes and the collective unconscious have influenced literature, art, and film. His theory of psychological types has been widely applied in fields such as education and organizational psychology. His emphasis on the importance of myth and symbol in human experience has informed approaches to anthropology, comparative religion, and cultural studies. However, Jung's work has not been without controversy. Some critics have argued that his concepts are too vague or unscientific to be empirically verified. Others have taken issue with his interest in occult and esoteric subjects, which they see as undermining the scientific credibility of his psychological theories. Jung's writings on the differences between Eastern and Western psychology have also been critiqued for their potential to reinforce cultural stereotypes. Despite these controversies, Jung's influence on modern thought remains profound. His emphasis on the importance of integrating the unconscious aspects of the psyche into conscious awareness resonates with many contemporary approaches to mental health and personal growth. His recognition of the role of symbolism and mythology in human psychology has opened up new avenues for understanding cultural phenomena and individual experience. As we reflect on the legacy of Carl Jung, we are confronted with fundamental questions about the nature of the human psyche, the role of the unconscious in shaping our lives, and the relationship between individual psychology and collective human experience. How do we understand the interplay between personal and universal aspects of the psyche? What is the relationship between psychological health and spiritual or existential well-being? How can we integrate scientific approaches to the mind with insights from mythology, art, and spiritual traditions? Jung's life and work serve as a testament to the power of intellectual curiosity and the courage to explore the depths of human experience. His journey from a conventional medical career to the frontiers of psychological and spiritual exploration challenges us to look beyond the surface of things, to seek meaning in the symbols and stories that shape our lives, and to strive for a more integrated and authentic existence. In our modern world, where rapid technological change often outpaces our psychological and spiritual development, Jung's insights into the human psyche offer valuable tools for self-understanding and cultural analysis. His emphasis on the importance of balancing opposing forces within the psyche, conscious and unconscious, rational and irrational, personal and collective, provides a framework for navigating the complexities of contemporary life. The story of Carl Jung reminds us of the profound mysteries that lie at the heart of human consciousness. It invites us to embark on our own journey of self-discovery, to confront the shadows within ourselves, and to seek a deeper connection with the collective wisdom of humanity. In doing so, we continue the quest for psychological and spiritual integration that Jung saw as the fundamental task of human existence.